You're hitting midlife, you have years of experience, but yet you wonder sometimes if you're still on the right track. If you look into your future, it looks a little bit foggy, unclear, or just a little bit too neutral. You wonder if a correction in your direction might give you something more successful and enjoyable? Then this is the right video for you. Hi and welcome, my name is Ingo Schulmeier from The Small Reset. 5 years ago I was chained to a high-stakes tech director role in Germany, and I was facing stress, burnout and stagnation that made me actually question everything. It was hard times because I had to make a hard decision. But today I'm very grateful that at this time I understood that these doubts and fears I had were actually signals from my unconscious mind that were telling me that I missed out on something and that I didn't see the full picture. And by listening to this voice and by integrating it, it helped me to start my career reinvention. And today we will talk exactly about that. We will see how we can use Carl Jung's shadow work for career clarity. And actually it's not just the original shadow work as it was defined by Carl Jung. We at The Small Reset, we upgraded it into Shadow Work 2.0, and that's your AI era upgrade for your personal and career transformation. I use this inner work to break free, to build economic sovereignty as a solopreneur, and to embrace geographic liberation with my family here in Mexico. So if you're a midlife bro ready to become who you are and to start your personal career upgrade, then buckle up, because this video will be awakening for you. So let's directly jump in. Are you sometimes jealous of your peers because they seem to achieve something effortlessly, while if you're trying to do something you seem to struggle and it seems like you're hitting invisible walls? You're dealing with procrastination, with doubt, or even with burnout loops. So where is this frustration coming from? Carl Jung is saying it's coming from our deepest shadows. And our shadow is actually our rejected part and our traits and characteristics that we buried in our unconscious mind to play our corporate career safe. And this is what's amplifying AI anxiety today. And it's blocking actually our reinvention. So if you feel resentment towards your innovative colleagues, that is your shadow projecting your untapped potential on them. You fear to become obsolescent? That's a suppressed fear of irrelevance, because you tied your success to your job title. Here at The Small Reset, this shadow work or this inner work is part of our midlife reinvention process. Because if you ignore your shadows, if you ignore your unconsciousness, that can lead to existential burnout. On the other hand, if you integrate them, it can unlock new possibilities for you and true career sovereignty. And by that, you don't have to just accept your midlife crisis. You can actually turn it into a launchpad. So now let's see how this actually works. So we are using the principal context of shadow work and how to integrate our shadow, and we apply this as your secret weapon for AI-resilient career reinvention. So what Jung said about the shadow is that it's your unconscious dark side. And by dark, I don't mean something evil or something necessarily bad. It's also your good traits and your skills and your creativity and your sense of innovation that you eventually buried for some other traits that at this time seem to be more important for you. So this shadow is actually a gold mine of our repressed traits, and right now they're holding us back from wholeness. But by exploring them, we can integrate them and we can use them to build something more meaningful. Today we're at the beginning of the AI age, and here your shadows gets more and more biased by tech. And that means also we have two possibilities. Either we can lock it away and we can express this in fear and anxiety, or we can embrace this revolution and integrate it and use it to work for us, to help us become who we really are. To start with this career clarity, we'll get directly very practical. You can immediately start shadow work for yourself. You don't need to go to therapy, you don't need to have a coach or a mentor. You just have to start to deal with your unconsciousness. And today we will start this process by 5 powerful questions that will give you valuable insight into your shadow and into your unconsciousness. Just a practical tip up front, don't just ping the questions around in your mind, write them really down. So get yourself a journal, get yourself a pen and write it down. Because by writing, our unconsciousness gets much more easily accessible and our dialogues with it become much deeper. So let's start directly with the first question. What qualities in others' careers trigger envy or resentment? Think about your colleagues. What are you jealous on them? And maybe you can even extend this question especially into the context of an AI landscape, and especially with the changes that are coming up in the last year or two. What qualities do they have that really drive you crazy? So for the beginning, start with 3 triggers. Don't censor yourself, just write down what comes to your mind. Keep in mind, nobody will read your journal. It's just for you. So don't be shy, don't censor yourself, just try to be as honest as possible. Okay, you got 3 trigger points? Then let's jump directly into question 2. What career path have you dismissed as impossible in this AI-driven world, and why? As an example, maybe you skipped entrepreneurship because you thought it's too risky. But it's actually not a fact that entrepreneurship is too risky. It's more a projection of your shadow that's hiding from growth. And Jung saw the answer to this question as rejected potentials. That means you would be actually capable of much more things if you would have more trust in yourself. So again, write down 3 paths that you considered impossible and that you skipped and you traded for a safe or for a secure corporate career. And then once you have them, you can also imagine what would happen if you would reclaim them. How would your life look like? Well, enjoy the outcome. But let's go even deeper with question number 3. What repeating pattern in your career point to unintegrated shadows? This can be some habits or behaviors like procrastination or overworking or getting stressed by certain things. And these patterns are also part of the shadow archetype. They put you in a kind of a victim role. Like for example, if you're fearing AI taking over your job and you use this as an apology to just not do the work anymore, to just not educate yourself anymore. So you're becoming the victim, the one who cannot change anyway anything about the situation. So it basically means you're giving up. But the great thing about this question is you're becoming aware of this pattern. And once you become aware, you can make the changes necessary. And for this question, you can also map your timeline. So when did this pattern or these habits occur the first time? In which times or in which situations do you do them? You got it? Okay, so these first 3 questions were for becoming aware actually of your shadow. What career path have you dismissed as impossible? Now with question 4, we're escalating that. And we're looking how we can turn them into strengths. So the 4th question is, what buried talents connect to your ideal AI resilient career? That means if you think about a future where AI dominates the workspace, so which of your talents and skills can you use to contribute and to differentiate yourself from computers? And here you actually can use a technique that's called active imagination. You start to visualize your shadow as your counterpart, as your wise guide, and you start to have a dialogue with him. You can ask him about his traits, or her. You can ask which skills you have ignored. You can ask what he or she thinks. And active imagination is a powerful technology. It might feel a little bit awkward in the first times, but once you're getting familiar with that, it's a very powerful process to communicate with your unconsciousness. And finally, question number 5. How would your fully integrated self redefine success amid AI disruptions? And here are a few things important, right? First of all, I'm talking about the fully integrated self, which means it's not just your conscious ego and your conscious identity that's pretending to whatever person you want to be, but it includes your shadow and your other archetypes and your complete unconsciousness. So basically your whole self. And if it's about redefine success, I'm not talking about the universal kind of success, but about your own definition of success. What does success mean for you? And then envision a career where AI becomes suddenly a partner and not a predator. Where you can reach economic freedom through smart automation and find your existential purpose that's not just tied to your job title or to your role or to your paycheck. Okay, and that's it already. That's Shadowwork 2.0 in action. It's not just a reflection, but it's actually your starting point to become who you are. And the great thing is you can do that for yourself and you can start it today. All you need is a pen and a paper. But keep in mind, you kept your unconsciousness hidden for so many years or even decades. So don't expect to uncover everything in 10 minutes or half an hour. But it's a process worth starting. And once you start, and once you get consistent with that, I promise you will see results very quickly. Practice these questions weekly. Block some time for that, but start small. 15 minutes are enough in the beginning. And quickly you will feel a shift when the shadow dissolves. And will start to reveal your own unstoppable path. And by that you're not just surviving AI, you're actually thriving through it with a new clarity. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel and check out our other videos. You will find there other exercises on shadow work and more explanations on Carl Jung's individuation process, and most important, how to stay human in the AI age. So thanks for watching, have a great day, and don't forget to get started.